Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another daily live stream and Chelsea news and transfer updates. And guys, we've got a lot of news to get through today. Things have been pretty quiet on the Conor Gallagher front, and then last night and today it's exploded into life. Aston Villa have held talks with Chelsea over a move for Gallagher. They've been in contact with the players' camps. Spurs are now preparing a bid for Gallagher as well. So there's a lot of news with Conor Gallagher. Atletico Madrid have also expressed an interest. So looks like things are going to start heating up now. I think offers are going to start to come in soon for Gallagher. Chelsea wanting around £50 million for him. I'm not sure we get that. I don't think we get that. I think clubs will look at the fact that we need to sell and they'll feel that they can get a bargain. You know, I think clubs looking at more towards the £40 million on Gallagher. We've got the latest on Michael Olise. Chelsea are set to open talks with his representatives, in the coming days with a view to concluding a deal. Chelsea are taking an aggressive measure, the Academy Scoop report. So we're going to dive into that. Trevor Chalobah has reportedly been told that he can leave Stamford Bridge this summer, according to the Standard. And obviously Fulham, amongst other clubs, are interested in him. So there's loads and loads to dive into, guys. Loads to dive into. And I think the only place to start is the Conor Gallagher stuff. But before we do that, I'm going to say hello to some of you guys in the chat. Make sure you smash the likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new round here as well, guys. Every new subscriber helps. And the quicker we get to 10K, then the quicker you've got a chance of getting your hands on a Chelsea shirt of your choice for the upcoming season when the club get their shit together and reveal the kit. So make sure you're subscribed, smash the likes. Let's run it up, people. Well over 100 likes required today. We always get that done. So let's make sure that we do it. So yeah, love to everyone that's locked in. Like, subscribe. Let's say hello to a few people and we're going to dive into things. I don't see Gallagher going to Spurs. No, I don't see that either. I agree. I hope not. No. Whether if Maresca will use him, I doubt it. If all the players are, I don't know if Maresca will use him or not, but I don't. There's no idea what his stance on Gallagher is at the end of the day. Got no idea what Maresca's stance on Gallagher is. I suspect he probably doesn't really. I suspect he doesn't have a say in it. It's the reality of the situation. He won't have a say in the situation. I wouldn't have thought. Again, it's not about. This is what people completely misunderstand. This is not about Gallagher not being able to find a better player than Conor Gallagher. It's not about that. It's about the precedent it sets, and it's the fact that you're taking away the DNA of the club, the likes of your Gallaghers, the likes of your Chalobahs and whatnot. You know, it's not about not being able to find a better player than Conor Gallagher. It's not about Chelsea not being able to win without Gallagher. People don't realise that. Yes, big up. Yeah, Villa would be a good move. Let's hope not. Yes, big up. I'm not convinced, brother. I don't think we do get 50. Maybe you might get 50 all in with bonuses and add-ons included and whatnot. But it's like in terms of 50 up front as a base fee, I don't see it personally. Yes, big up, brother. Hope you're doing well. Don't sell him to Tottenham. Yeah, look, this is the thing. Gallagher's going to start for Villa. He'll start for Spurs. Again, it's up to him. It's entirely up to him at the end of the day. Deals can be agreed between the clubs, but ultimately it's entirely down to the player on this one. Yes. You lot know what to do. Run the likes up, people. Run the likes up. 64 in the building already, only 16. We've got work to do, guys. We've got work to do. So make sure you're doing it. Even if Man City gets kicked out of the Premier League, City won't get kicked out of the Premier League. Yeah, Olise absolutely would be a statement signing. I agree. I don't know what it is, but I sense a title charge next season. I mean, let's rein it in a little bit on the title charge front. But look, if we had the right pieces, look, it's too many ifs and buts. But the top four is there for the taking. That much is absolutely clear. Olise, a great signing, but Sesko is Arsenal bound. I don't think Sesko is necessarily Arsenal bound. Big up, yes, mate. Gallagher has to stay. We need to lay down a marker here for future academy players. Yeah, I agree. Let's wait and see. Again, don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything you read. You know, Gallagher, like this idea that Gallagher's making outrageous demands is simply wide of the mark. It's just not true. Um, there's a report that it's very likely Alvarez will leave City. I don't know if Alvarez will leave City this summer. But yeah, let's dive into this Gallagher news, people. So we had it last night from David Ornstein that let me just find it now. Is that it? Yeah. So it's saying that Aston Villa have held preliminary talks with Chelsea over a move for Conor Gallagher. Villa are also in contact with his camp. Unai Emery is a huge admirer and emerging as a top target. Chelsea retain an interest in John Duran among candidates for the number 9 role. And then Sammy Mockbell has reported today that Spurs are preparing to make an offer for Gallagher. Now, in terms of Villa, Champions League club, they're obviously looking to add more strength, more quality and depth to their squad as they prepare for a Champions League campaign. But ultimately, I think that would be a good move. Are Villa going to spend £50 million on Gallagher? I'm not sure. I personally don't see it. And you know, we knew this was going to come. We knew this was going to happen. We knew that Chelsea are trying to force Conor Gallagher out of the club. But what do you know? What I would say on this, right? How fucked must Chelsea be, by the way, if after potentially selling the likes of Martson, Chalobah, Lukaku. So what? So let's go through this again. So if we're going to sell Broja, Chalobah, Martson, and Hutchinson, right? Which probably between the 4 of those is best part of £100 million, maybe more than 100 million. Yet you supposedly have still got to sell Conor Gallagher to make ends meet. How on earth is that possible? And how on earth are the directors or the finance people or whatever still in a job? That's best part of £100 million of pure profit on the books before the Gallagher sale even kicks into play. So how on earth can we be in a situation, people, where you sell Broja, you're going to sell Martson, you're going to sell Chalobah, you're going to sell Hutchinson potentially as well, and yet we're still in a position where we may have to sell Gallagher as well, despite probably raking in well over 100 million of pure profit. I don't understand it. I absolutely do not understand it at all. It literally makes next to no sense, people. It makes next to no sense how, you know, they're looking at the Gallagher thing and thinking, well, look how many other players you've got to sell that can bring in enough money based on pure profit terms. And again, people get really confused. You know, people say like, you know, oh, if everyone's fit, where does he play? Enzo, Lavia, Caicedo have got higher ceilings than him. Yeah, okay, fine. And Kunku, Chukwuemeka, Palmer, you know, are all better 10s than him. Yeah, sure. But ultimately, people at the end of the day, and this is just my opinion, by the way, and it's not necessarily right or wrong, but people get confused between talent and potential. So talent is what is actually being shown to you by the player. Potential is what might happen. All right. So the talent is what you see right now. Potential is what might happen. In terms of talent wise, Gallagher showed up more than Enzo, Caicedo, and Lavia last season. And yet, at this point, he seems to have been elevated to a mythical level and Lavia is like, by not playing, is now suddenly elevated to some sort of mythical level where he's a top player. I'm not saying that he's not a good player. He's potential. It's the what might be with him. So he's not shown anything right now. And Gallagher has shown more than Enzo and Caicedo last season. Right? I'm not saying he's a better player than them, by the way. But we're banking on a lot of potential here. And people are getting massively confused between talent and potential. People are basing their opinions, in my opinion, on potential, not on actual facts and situation right now. Okay. No one is saying that Conor Gallagher is a better player than Enzo Fernandez. No one is saying that he's better than Moises Caicedo. No one is saying that he's a better player than Romeo Lavia. But what we're saying right now is, in the here and now, in terms of performance levels last season right now, he turned up and showed more than all three of those players. And yet he's the one that's going. I'm not saying that any of those guys should be sold, by the way, but do you get what I'm saying? You know, it's simply like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And then when people, you know, are talking about the soul of the club, you know, being ripped out by selling academy products, that doesn't. I'm not saying that, you know, Conor Gallagher is the soul of the club. He's not the soul of the club per se. But what people don't understand, by the way, is that it's not that Gallagher is the soul of the club himself. It's the fact that what am I saying? It's the fact that you know, people think that, you know, oh, you know, the Chelsea can't win without Gallagher, then it's a huge problem or whatever. That's not what we're saying here. Gallagher's not the soul of the club, but players like him are the soul of the club. You know, this is what people don't understand. It's not about Gallagher himself being the soul. It's what he and other academy graduates represent. It's the same with Chalobah. It's the same with Colwell. It's the same with Reece James. The soul of the club isn't something you can buy. It's something you build. And all those lads represent the soul of Chelsea. And when you sell those players, you are taking the soul of Chelsea away, because those lads represent what the soul of Chelsea is. You know, it represents what the soul of Chelsea is. And quite simply, those players are invaluable to the squad. Is anyone saying that Conor Gallagher should start next season? No, I'm not saying that he should be a regular starter in a team. But you cannot tell me that Conor Gallagher, that Chelsea's squad is not better with Gallagher in it, because it absolutely is. You know, you also have to look at availability when discussing these things. You know, last season, he played 50 out of a possible 51 games. Yet, you know, and availability is a massive thing as well. You know, there's people that are, unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this fan base that are constantly pushing to sell what we have, right? Which we know what we have right now, tangible evidence of what we have. They're pushing to sell players based on what ifs for the future. Look at the amount of pressure that is being put on the likes of Kendry Pyers and Esteval Willian when they come through the door to be some sort of Eden Hazard 2.0s. Like, do you know what I mean? People are prepared to bank so much on what ifs and so much on potential of what might happen, rather than actually looking at what we've got right now and what is performing well right now. You know, ultimately, a lot of Chelsea at the moment is based on potential, on what ifs of what might happen. There's no guarantees that any of these players are going to reach the heights that we think they're going to reach. There's no guarantees at all. Yet we've got players that are performing to a top level right now, i.e. Gallagher and Chalobah, and yet we want to sell them. You know, let's be real here. Let's be real here. That there's no way that if Gallagher and Chalobah weren't English, that they'd be being sold this summer. They're not being sold for footballing reasons. They're not being sold for footballing reasons. You know, that's the reality of the situation here. You know, Caicedo didn't have a great season. Yeah, he improved towards the second half. You know, great seasons, we're talking, let me think, you know, your Kantes, your Matiches and whatnot. People need to look at players more objectively. You know, we got to be careful that we're not heading into what Arsenal fans used to do when they would pretend that sort of, you know, players were world beaters and whatnot. That is not what we want to be do. You know, Caicedo, yes, he had a good season, but we spent £115 million on him. So whilst I like him and I think he's going to be great for us, the expectations when you spend that much money on a player are that he should be a difference maker and dominating most weeks. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be looking to spend that money, and not just using Caicedo as an example, but I wouldn't be looking to spend that money on a player and then hope that in 3 to 4 seasons he might be good. Like, is this what we're doing now? Like, we're spending large sums of money in a hope that people are going to be good in 3 to 4 years. You know, I'm a massive fan of Moises Caicedo. I think he's a top player, and he's and you know, and he's going to be massive for Chelsea. But you know, let's not pretend that Conor Gallagher wasn't Chelsea's best midfield player last season, because he was. You know, and that's not to say that Gallagher's a better player than Caicedo, because he's absolutely not. But Gallagher was Chelsea's best midfield player last season. That is the simple reality of the situation, guys. He was Chelsea's best midfield player last season. But you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. People are going to have their views on him, and it's not about him. It's not about him being not being able to find a better player. You know, and ultimately for me, what's really annoying about this is that one of the most depressing things about the Gallagher thing is that the club are going to try and force the narrative with briefings that he was making unrealistic demands. He wouldn't accept the deal that we put on the table, and then the usual people just lap all that up and think that he didn't want to stay, and then you get the mindset of, oh yeah, we've got an extra £50 million to spend, but we're probably going to spend it on a teenager who might be good in 3 or 4 years, but probably isn't going to make the team any better. Do you get what I'm saying here, people? Yeah, Gallagher will reject Spurs, and do you know, if I was Conor, I wouldn't be leaving this summer. I'd just run my contract down and leave on a free, or make sure that Chelsea, Gallagher. Do you know what it is, right? Tuchel. Every manager has played Conor Gallagher. Tuchel played Gallagher. Potter played Gallagher. Pochettino played Gallagher. There's a reason why Conor Gallagher gets picked by managers, because because he offers something to the team. You know, Gallagher in that number 8 position in a Maresca system could definitely do a job. It could definitely do a job. There's no denying that. Why does he get picked for England? Why does he get picked by multiple different Chelsea managers? Why has he been picked for every single manager he's played under? And it's not because he's shit. You know, people need to remove their agendas aside here. If Gallagher wasn't from Cobham, that there would be a very different conversation around him. In my view, you know, you get rid of Conor Gallagher, right? And then what do? You're going to go and bring someone else in. You're going to try and find someone else to replicate what he brings in. You cannot replicate what Conor Gallagher gives you in terms of effort and passion for the badge and energy on the pitch and giving 110% every second of every game. You can't replicate that. You know, you cannot replicate that. And no one's saying that you can't sign a better player than Conor Gallagher in terms of a better football, better technically and all that sort of thing. No one's denying that. No one is denying that at all, guys. No one's denying that at all. He'll be at the Euros. Is he gonna play regularly at the Euros? No, probably not. But he'll certainly have a role, and he'll be part of the final 26-man squad. I've got no doubts about that. I just think, we've been down this road before. And am I going to cry if Gallagher leaves? No. Do I think he should be leaving? No, I don't think that. But this is not about Gallagher's not bigger than a football club. No player's bigger than the football club. I fully appreciate that, and that will always be the case. And bigger and better players have left Chelsea Football Club than Conor Gallagher. That's not up for debate. That's undeniable. But it's the precedent that it sets as well. You know, who's to say that they're not going to go and sell Reece in a few years' time? They're not going to go and sell. They're not going to go and sell Colwell in a few years' time just because they've offered them new contracts. Yeah, fine, but they offered Chalobah a new deal a year or so ago. Broja signed a 6-year contract extension a year or two back. They don't want him anymore. Like, is this what we're going to constantly do? We're going to recklessly spend in the transfer market, and then we're going to have to sell off our best academy players to cover up for those mistakes. We're just going to keep going in that cycle. I'm really not sure that that's the kind of the route that we should be going down, people. I'm really not sure that's the route that we should be going down. That's the reality, guys. By the way, 136 in the building, only 48 likes. What are we playing at here? Smash that like button, people. This should be well on the way to 100 likes. So just come on in, smash the thumbs up button, guys, and make sure you're subscribing to the channel as well. 15 subscribers away from 9,850. Let's make sure we hit that milestone in today's stream. 136 in the building. There's definitely a few of you in here who aren't subscribed. So make sure you are subscribing to the channel right now. Help me on the road to 10K. We are inching ever closer. Every new subscriber helps. Become part of the great community here and get yourself in with a chance of winning a Chelsea shirt of your choice from the upcoming season as well. So smash the likes and subscribe, people. You guys know what to do. If I was Gallagher, yes, big up. No, we absolutely won't. We won't do that. That's not going to happen. Certainly not this summer, anyway. I'm very sure Palmer and Kunku will play in midfield, so Gallagher becomes a very sellable asset. These owners don't support football. Look, I hear that. If I was Gallagher, I would find it hard to run my contract down, considering the likes of Sterling are on 320k a week. Yeah, look, there's no denying that he should have been offered a new deal. Of course, he should have been offered a new deal. It's ridiculous for anyone to say otherwise. He absolutely should have been offered a new deal. There's no denying that. If United bid 70 million for Colwell tomorrow, he's gone. Well, they'd accept the bid. Whether he'd take the move or not, I don't know. Chelsea plays more academy players than any other team in the league. City sells academy players to balance the book. It's because none of them were playing in the first team. You know, there's a complete difference to selling players from the academy that haven't featured in the first team. It's all very well, selling a Harwood Bellis to Southampton. He didn't play for the first team. Like, what academy player, other than Cole Palmer, right, who featured sparingly for the first team, what academy players have City sold that have actually played an active and a big part for the first team? None. They haven't sold any. Gallagher's on what, 70 grand a week or something at Chelsea, or 50 grand even. He deserves a contract that puts him on at least 100 grand a week. That's not ridiculous. Yeah, but he wasn't a major contributor. He wasn't a major contributor. Well, hopefully for pre-season, I'd imagine. I think that's the plan. Get him fit for the pre-season. That's the aim, I think. Yeah, fit for the pre-season is what we're looking at with Lavia. Yeah, less than I thought. Yeah. But again, it's about what do we do, okay? Because look, it's all very well. Let's say Gallagher goes, right, which he probably will. Then we're looking at a situation, right, where in midfield we've got Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and then we've got Romeo Lavia, who hasn't proven he can keep himself fit. Then you've got the likes of Andre Santos, who we're not sure what we're going to do with yet. Again, someone that is potential. He's doing okay right now at Strasbourg, but someone that, again, is potential. And then what else are you looking at in the middle of the park? There's not very much else there. Someone like a Cesare Casadei, again, potential. He's not exactly ready to go and play. So then by selling Gallagher, you create yourself an issue in the transfer market where you need to go and find someone else to fill that. I don't know why we like to try it. I don't know why we like to make these problems for ourselves. I really don't get it. Gallagher, Chalobah, Martin, Hutchinson, Broja, Hall would generate us around 180 million pounds. But again, this is the thing. We can get well over 100 million pounds without even needing to sell Gallagher. So if we still need to sell Gallagher after all that, then how bad is it? How bad is it? It just seems ridiculous to me. It does just seem absolutely ridiculous. And look, the club will go on, and people will get over it. Of course they will. And ultimately, Chelsea's the most important thing. But I just don't agree and can't see how it's right to be looking to sell Conor Gallagher. I just don't agree with that. I just don't agree with that. It just isn't the case. It's just not the case at all. It just shouldn't be in a situation where this is happening. That's the reality. We shouldn't be in this position where, look, if you sell Gallagher, right, and you bring potential into the squad, you're basically saying that, in essence, it doesn't matter how well you're doing. Doesn't matter how well you're doing training and matches. We're not aiming to win titles right now. Who brought you in is more important than what you do on the pitch. And Cobham just equals profits. The academy is twofold. I understand 100% right that the academy is twofold. It's always going to be the best will make it in the first team, and then others will be sold on for a profit. I genuinely believe that this ownership purely only see Cobham as a cash cow. I really don't believe they see it as anything other than that. And there's no evidence at all to suggest that the likes of Reece, the likes of Colwell and whatnot might not be next. There's literally zero evidence to suggest that. You look at the Chelsea title winning squads. Look at the squad players they've had. The likes of your Yuri Yarasics, your likes of your Alexi Schmertins, the likes of your Thiagos. All people that not the best footballers, but would come in and do a job for 15 or 20 games in a season when you need them and make valuable contributions. That is exactly what Conor Gallagher can do. No one's saying he needs to be a starter and build the team around him, and he needs to be the main. He needs to be. I just don't get how you can watch Chelsea last season and say that Gallagher wasn't good or he's not very good. There's no way that he's not a squad level player. Of course, he's a squad player for Chelsea. A very good squad player at that. And it's hard to replace players like Gallagher, not in terms of talent or ability, but in terms of getting the DNA of the club, in terms of the effort that he puts in on the team. You can't buy that. You can't buy that. You develop it, and you either have it or you don't. You can't buy that sort of thing. It's not 100% that Gallagher leaves, and I'd like to think that I'd like to think that he wouldn't accept a move to Tottenham, but ultimately we don't know. We don't know. We don't know if he'd accept a move to Tottenham or not. I don't think he would per se, but it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see whether he does or not. But it's just the fact that we seem to be so prepared to gamble on potential rather than what we've got. Potential rather than what we've got. That's the thing. It always seems to be the what if with Chelsea fans. It's like, okay, well, is this presumption that Lavia is 100% going to develop into the player that we think he is? Is this presumption that Esteval and Paez are certain to become what we think they're going to become? This is a dangerous way of thinking, people. It's exciting to sign players with potential and guys that have got the ability to be good, but the reality is there's no guarantees. And what you need in your team are players that are what you need in the team and the squad are players that have proven they can perform at a top level. These guys haven't proven that. That's the reality. Carney, again, he's he's potential. Another one, he's not proven on a consistent basis that he can perform to a top level. I like him, but my point with this is that Gallagher is always available. He gets what it means to play for the club, and he will perform to a good level. I don't know what's going to happen with Chukwuemeka. With Ugochukwu. Ugochukwu and Cassidy, I think, will go on loan. Andre Santos, I think, will go on loan. There are certain things in a player that you can't buy, and that is love for the club. That is, giving 110% every single game. You can't buy that level of commitment. You simply can't. But in terms of Spurs preparing a bid, we know that Tottenham have had a long-standing interest in Gallagher. I think it even went back to last summer. It was kind of spoken about. But Tottenham are set to rival Aston Villa in the race to sign Chelsea midfielder Conor Gallagher and are ready to make their move ahead of the end of the month. Spurs have got a strong interest in Gallagher and are preparing to make an offer. And Atletico Madrid are also interested. Tottenham sense an opportunity to secure a good value deal for Gallagher before June 30th, which is the cutoff for clubs to include transfers in their next set of accounts. Chelsea are under pressure to comply with the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, and because Gallagher is an academy-raised player, he would represent pure profit on their balance sheet. Gallagher's got a year left on his deal, and while Chelsea have tried to tie him down to new terms, there is no agreement in place as things stand. Have Chelsea tried to tie him down to new terms? I don't really know. Spurs want to take advantage of Chelsea's position and get a deal done before the end of June. Interesting. Villa have opened talks with Chelsea over their interest in Gallagher, and the fact the Midlands side can offer Champions League football could be a factor. There are no guarantees that Spurs will continue to pursue Gallagher beyond the end of the month. Chelsea want a minimum of £50 million for Gallagher. The Blues sold fellow academy graduate Mason Mount in a deal worth an initial £55 million, rising to £60 last summer, and Chelsea will seek a similar fee for Gallagher. Stamford Bridge officials have been impressed with the way Gallagher has conducted himself throughout the uncertainty of his future. While talks over a deal haven't gone according to plan, the midfielder hasn't allowed the uncertainty to disrupt his future. I don't know what sort of level of bids we're going to get. I really don't. I really don't. No, I agree. I mean, look, Mount achieved more than Gallagher. Sure, he was a big part of winning the Champions League and whatnot. But you got there were very active negotiations to get Mount to sign a new contract. Now, what did and didn't happen is neither here nor there now. But with Gallagher, there's been no attempts to offer a new deal. There's been zero attempts. And anything that comes out saying otherwise is just not true. Just simply not true. Do you get what I'm saying? We got to stop falling for this. No one's going to bid 50 mil. End of this month, the PSR deadline. Clubs are going to try and get a cheap deal. We had an offer of 40 million plus 5, maybe in the January of the Graham Potter season, which was turned down. Was it turned down, or it might have been accepted, but Gallagher turned the move down? Well, anyway, we're regard one of those two situations. Guys, so much coming in. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Chelsea, this selling of academy players will go on until our losses are turned into profit. Fair enough. No, Spurs won't bid 50. I don't see. He hasn't achieved anything outside Chelsea as of yet. And that's. It's not about what they've gone on to achieve. It's not about that. I'll be honest. I don't see Villa or Tottenham offering any more than £40 million all in. I really don't. I think Chelsea could struggle to get 50. I really do. Well, look, at the end of the day, guys, the ball is in Gallagher's court. Whatever happens here, it's up to Conor. He's under contract for another year. He wants to stay at the football club. So if I was him, I would look to stay on a free, but then stay and go on a free. But then you sort of run the danger of getting yourself into a situation where you're like, well, okay, if I stay, even though I know the club actively want me out, am I going to get frozen out? Are the higher ups going to tell the manager not to use me? They're going to tell him to leave me out. I don't know if those are the sort of things that occur. Would he really not be played if he stays? Would he not be played even in the Conference League? I don't really know. But look, Chelsea have got a right to demand £50 million for him. Given the season that he's just had. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, people. It's certainly going to be an interesting one to see what would happen. I mean, if I was him, I would stay and run my contract down and kind of go from there. The only danger with that is that, as I said, you run the risk of being frozen out. Being told not to be used by the club because you've refused to leave, even though we want you to go. Yeah, but bro, we're not getting £65 million. Like we're just not getting that. Do you think Maresca's involved? No, I wouldn't have thought so. If Poch died on the hill of wanting to keep Gallagher and Chalobah, and that was one of the reasons as to why he's not here anymore, I can't imagine them suddenly changing their stance. And if Maresca wanted to keep Gallagher, they would suddenly be fine with doing that. I suspect that he's had no say in the matter. I suspect he would have had no say in the matter at all. No, it's not 100%. It's not 100% guaranteed that he leaves. No, that isn't the case at all. It's not 100% certain. No. Gallagher should say all these chocolate legs players will get injured before the season starts. Yeah, of course he would have done. If we weren't in potential financial difficulties, then he'd be staying. There's no way, based on the season that he's just had, that Chelsea are selling him for footballing reasons. They are selling him for purely financial and accounting reasons because we've spent recklessly. And we've got ourselves in a spot of bother. Guys, come on, we're still not at 100 likes yet. 170 in the building. Big up to every single person that is locked in. Make sure you are smashing the thumbs up button, people. It's free. It takes seconds, and we've got 170 in there. And we still aren't at 100 likes. What are we playing at here, guys? What are we playing at? If you're not liking the stream, what are you doing? Smash the likes up, people. Smash those likes up. 25 to go till we hit the 100 mark. That should be light work. And keep subscribing to the channel as well, guys. Every new subscriber really helps as we edge ever closer to the 10,000 subscriber milestone. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're locked in now and you're new around here. Every new subscriber helps. Come on in, join the community. And guys, remember at 10K, there's a chance for you to win a Chelsea shirt of your choice from the upcoming season. So make sure you are subscribed and you are involved. So let's smash that subscribe button, join the journey. And yeah, make sure you do that, people. Make sure you do that. 10 subscribers to go to hit 9,850. Let's get there, guys. You can easily do this. So let's get it done, people. Let's get it done. Right. There's only one way we keep Gallagher is make him crucial as a sub to Caicedo. I don't know. This is a very good point. This is a very good point. Gallagher could run his contract down. Sure, I personally think Gallagher knows he's gone. I see it. I don't know if he. I think he knows for sure. I think he knows for sure that he could well be on his way out, even though he doesn't want to go. He might feel he has to because the club don't want him. I think we will get Olise. Let's wait and see. We definitely like him. We definitely like him. Yeah, Ornstein did say that we didn't need to sell anyone for FFP. So someone's lying, or they're just putting out stuff that isn't true. is what's going on. Is what's going on here. Look, I think it's clear that Olise and Sesko are Chelsea's two main summer targets in terms of attacking players. But we'll have to wait and see. Phrase Fletcher on X, Sesko to Arsenal. Sesko to Arsenal is by no means a done deal at all. You know, people just like to go early, regardless of whether things are correct or not. You know, that's the reality of the situation. You know, that is the reality of the situation, people. I don't see anything about. Look, Sesko is not gonna join Arsenal. Well, he's not going to join Arsenal. He's not joined Arsenal. He hasn't agreed to join Arsenal. How likely is it that Gallagher stays? I've got no idea, to be honest. I've got no idea. Yeah, but they're not going to. You really think they're going to pay 50 mil? No chance are they going to pay 50 mil. That just isn't happening. We need another striker for sure. We could definitely strengthen in the wide areas. Maybe I'd like to see us get rid of Sterling and bring in obviously Michael Olise. Maybe another centre back if Chalobah leaves, but there's not an awful lot of work that needs to be done. You know, no, he's not. He's scored a few. He's scored a few goals. He's scored a few goals. No, Murillo's not disappeared from the list. No, that absolutely isn't the case. That isn't the case. You know, it has. But yeah, let's see. But yeah, look, the Gallagher thing is what it is. We're just gonna wait and see. We're just gonna wait and see what happens with it. You know, so we could talk about this for hours, and it's not going to change anything. I'd be wary about using Team Talk as a reliable source. You know, I would wait until there's more reliable people talking about it. To be honest, that'd be my view on it. There's no doubt that Arsenal are interested in Sesko. That's not new news. That's not like groundbreaking revelation. Arsenal are definitely interested in Sesko. They've met with his agents and whatnot. We know all this. So let's wait and see. But if we were to miss out on Sesko, then I would be slightly concerned about what the alternative targets might be. That would be a concern for me. I'd be worried about that, to be perfectly honest. I would be worried about that. Yeah. I mean, the fact that there's still interest in Duran makes me think that maybe Duran might be an alternative, you know, and that's I don't want to say it's a scary thought, but I think that's a bit offensive. But yeah, you get my drift, people. You get my drift. The worry absolutely is that as has been said in the chat, you know, it's clear that Sesko is the priority. If Sesko decides to go Arsenal or he decides to go elsewhere and we miss out, that's then where I'm thinking, yeah, okay, this could be a problem. We might be in trouble. I'm almost certain that we are not going to sign Ferguson. Certainly not this summer. Maybe at some point in the future that could be something that gets looked at, but there's no chance for me at this summer. No chance. Did I see the Havertz tweet? What was that? But yeah, anyway, let's move away from this. Let's move on to more positive things. Let's talk about Michael Olise because that is exciting, guys. Oh, did I get rid of the wrong one? I don't fucking know what I'm doing there. Yeah, Michael Olise. Let's discuss him. So David Ornstein has provided an update. And we're going to get into the stuff from the Academy scoop as well. So Michael Olise's future is likely to be one of the hottest topics of the summer. So David Ornstein has said, I've always been led to believe that Champions League would be the step that he would take after Crystal Palace. But that's not ruling out a really exciting project. So i.e. saying that Champions League is not the be-all and end all for him, which is good, because if it was down to Champions League, we'd be fucked. Is the answer to that, because we wouldn't be getting him if it was solely down to Champions League. So yeah, that's positive on that front. We're going to have to try and sell the project. The Academy scoop, who I don't really know who these guys are, but they seem to be pretty good. Where is it? Exclusive here. Chelsea will meet with Michael Olise's representatives in the coming days with a view to proactively concluding a deal. The London club are taking aggressive measures to ensure they beat Man United to the Frenchman's signing. Their efforts aided by Olise's pre-existing relationship with Chelsea recruitment specialist Joe Shields, which is great news. They then add here, despite holding Olise in high regard, a right winger doesn't rank as highly on United's priority list as some have alluded to. Ineos are focusing their efforts on defensive and midfield signings. Talks are underway with reps of several potential targets. So, I mean, look, guys, I don't want us to get carried away here, but we could be things could be getting closer. Things could be happening. It's clear that we are working away hard behind the scenes, and Joe Shields is obviously going to play a huge role in us getting him. I mean, if we did have Nkunku, Palmer, Olise, and whatnot, it would be amazing. Do you know what needs to happen though, regardless of what happens here? Like, I think what is clear is that Chelsea are trying to get as much business done as early as possible, so that Maresca can work with as much of the squad as possible before the pre-season. I know it's not always possible, but you don't want players joining partway through pre-season. You really don't. You want everyone to be there from day one, if possible. And it really does look like that Chelsea are doing that. They are looking to get as much business done as possible, as early as possible. Yeah, Santos is a good player. Andre Santos is a good player. I just think he needs a bit more time. I think he needs a bit more time to develop. Guys, 2 more likes to 100. Come on, run it up. 168 in the building still. Let's keep it moving, people. Let's keep it moving. 98 likes. Smash it up. 100 likes needs to be reached, people. There's definitely people in here not liking the stream, which is it's a disgrace, quite frankly. As Drogba said, disgrace. Get the likes up to 100, guys. Light work, and keep subscribing as well, guys. If you're not subscribing, make sure you do. Do you know what? The injury record isn't even that bad. It's more the reoccurrence is the problem. It's been a reoccurrence of hamstring issues that is not great. We need a striker. Yeah, we do. I'm still confused where Nkunku. Jackson, I think, will play through the middle. Could play down the left at times. Nkunku, I suspect, is going to rotate. If Palmer plays as a 10, I suspect that Nkunku and Palmer will maybe rotate next season. We absolutely do need to have another option. There's no denying it, because there's so many games, and you can guarantee there's going to be injuries, there's going to be suspensions and whatnot. So we are going to need to sort that out. We're going to need to sort that out. So yeah, it's going to be. It's going to be. We do need one. We absolutely do need one. The Olise stuff is again, it's massively exciting. It's massively exciting. But we just gotta rein ourselves in a little bit. He's such a good player. Such a good player. Instantly improves the attack. No, we don't really need him. Is it greedy? Yes. Is it slightly stockpiling? Yeah, it is slightly stockpiling. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So you sort of, as I said, with Olise, you're in a situation where you don't really need him, but a player of his quality doesn't come up that often, and when you get presented with it, you kind of need to take it. You kind of need to take it. It's the sort of player that transforms a team, in my view. If he comes in, for me Sterling, because the secret scout, who is a pretty good source, by the way. Let me just find him now. Has reported this secret scout. Where is it? This is it here. So from a secret scout, let me just bring it up now. Secret scout also saying that Chelsea are pushing hard for Sesko. So from what the secret scout understands, from what I understand, Chelsea want Olise this summer. Him and Noni options for the right wing, Mudryk and Sterling for the left wing. So from that assumption there, that means that obviously they're not looking. Palmer's not going to play as a winger, like he did for large parts of this season. That's what we're presuming here. Palmer is not going to play as a winger. He's going to play he could even play as an 8 in a 4-3-3, or he's going to play as a 10. Well, I mean, look, Palmer did very well on the right-hand side, but I think maybe Maresca might see him as a number 8. Maresca might see him as a 10 if he plays a 4-2-3-1. So maybe the plans are not to use Palmer off the right-hand side like he was used for the majority of last season. That could be that plan. Again, no, I don't think anyone's got a problem with selling Hutchinson. I haven't seen anyone have a problem with it. It's the reality of the new model. But I haven't seen anyone have an issue with selling Hutchinson. No, I must have missed that. To be perfectly honest, I must have missed that. But yeah, Jackson can play on the left, could play down the left as well. There's absolutely that possibility also. I swear if Fofana does not make it to the squad full-time next season, he's got to go. Fair enough. Yeah, I would. But I think Jackson, for me, what I think is going to happen, guys, is that if we do get Olise, it will be Olise and Noni on the right. It will be Mudryk and Sterling options from the left. It will be Palmer and Nkunku as number 10 options. I don't know what that necessarily means for the likes of Chukwuemeka and players like that. Is he purely going to be consigned to sub appearances, Conference League, cup games, and whatnot? I don't know. But it evidently seems that is going to be the plan on this front. I mean, Chelsea definitely want Michael Olise. There'll obviously be other clubs interested, but I think it really is a case of Palmer and Nkunku are going to be more central. That's the way that I think it's going down. That's the way that I think it's going down. In terms of Sesko, it's one of them, isn't it? Chelsea and Arsenal both want him. Interesting to see who's going to end up with him. I think at Arsenal, you can clearly see he's going to be the main number 9. But at Chelsea, there'll be a battle with Nicholas Jackson. So I guess from a Sesko perspective, it's going to depend on what he sees as a better move at the end of the day. But at Arsenal, there's no doubt he'll be the main 9. At Chelsea, he will be battling with Nicholas Jackson. So it depends on what he sees as a better move. Does he want the Champions League football and the instant opportunity to challenge for trophies straight away, or is he more sold by the Chelsea project and what we're looking to do? That's the big thing here. That is the big thing here. I mean, look, Palmer could. I've discussed this with a few people. Palmer could absolutely play in the Dewsbury Hall role. That advanced number 8 role that he played last season for Leicester. Will it mean that he scores less goals next season? Quite possibly, but I think you'll see that he will become a lot more creative, and his assists will certainly shoot up. No, there's no doubt about it. I don't see Palmer playing as a false 9, no, but I can see a situation where he does play as a number 8. No, I think Sesko would be the main striker. I don't think he'd walk in straight away, but Sesko's a better number 9 than Kai Havertz. He's a better 9 than Havertz, and Jesus has not done the business, which is why they're signing a striker. So I think I would say he's going to walk in straight away. But again, you won't need to track back that much as an advanced state, because you'll have a fullback inverting into midfield. You'll have a number 6, and there'll be a more defensive-minded number 8. So Palmer's not going to need to do that box-to-box shit. There'll be some defensive responsibilities, but he's not going to need to do that box-to-box stuff. Guys, 188 in the building. Big numbers again. Keep smashing the likes, people. Keep smashing those likes and keep subscribing. We need to get closer and closer to the 10K. We need to keep it going, people. We need to keep it going. So keep subscribing to the channel. Get your friends, get your family, get whoever it is to subscribe to the channel. We are closing in. We're about 150 away from the 10K now. Keep subscribing, guys. It's free and it takes seconds. You're going to get daily content. I'm going to be bringing guests onto the channel and all that sort of business as well. So make sure you stay locked in. But yes, 7 subscribers to the next mini milestone of 9,850. Let's get it. Let's go and get it. 7 more subscribers, nearly 200 in the building. That should be light work. So let's get a move on with it, people. Let's do it. Let's get it done, guys. 7 more subscribers should be easy work. Would we steal Jesus? No, absolutely not. Yeah, I could absolutely see that. Enzo in the deeper role. Caicedo as more of a defense-minded 8. Palmer as the attack-minded 8. Which players need to be sold? Well, I mean, it's the obvious ones that obviously everyone knows in terms of loaned out. Probably loan out Santos, loan out Casadei. Those sorts of players. Exactly. So any concerns over Cole Palmer needing to track back I don't think are warranted, because, as you say, you've got the defensive midfield player, you've got the more defensive-minded number 8, and then you've also got the inverted fullback in there as well. Next season, I hope other players step up, because I don't want all the pressure on Palmer. Absolutely agree. Can't shake the feeling we'll be more focused on getting a backup for Jackson and Kunku than. I think Sesko's got potential. Again, this potential thing I've been going on about. Sesko's got the potential to be able to do that, but yeah, I don't think that we are looking at an out-and-out goal scorer like straight away. Duran potentially does make sense. If we miss out on Sesko, then I genuinely think it could be. I honestly think it could be Duran. And that would mean that Nicholas Jackson would be the main striker next season. Maybe Nkunku could potentially play as a striker at times. But having Jackson and Duran as your striking options, I don't want to say it's shit, but that wouldn't fill me with the most confidence. It wouldn't fill me with the most confidence. But I think that for me personally, most of our business has got to be done by the end of the month. That's the reality here. That is the reality of the situation here in my mind. That's personally how I see it. My feelings is if we get Olise, we'll go with Nkunku and Jackson as strikers for a season. I still think it's a massive gamble because we know that Nkunku has got fitness issues. What happens if he gets injured? What happens if Jackson gets injured? You're then in a really tricky situation. You know, you're then in a really tricky situation. There's no denying that you suddenly find yourself in a tricky situation. I don't envisage a situation where Duran's involved in part of the deal with Gallagher. I personally don't see that. But yeah, Michael Olise, Chelsea is going to open conversations with his reps potentially this week. That is certainly starting to gather a little bit of pace, it feels like. The Conor Gallagher situation has certainly exploded into life. So yeah, you know, think things are happening. Things are gathering pace. You know, Chelsea again, as you said, don't want to sell Gallagher for less than 50. And again, just briefly on this Gallagher thing to go back to it, you know, it's the soul being ripped out of the club. They need, if they need to sell, fine, but there are absolutely other players who could/should go before him. You know, that's the reality. If you're looking to raise money, Gallagher shouldn't be the first one that's going. But let's move on to another academy product who looks like he is going on his way out the door, and that is Trevor Chalobah. That is on Trevor Chalobah. And again, apparently, according to Liam Toomey in the Athletic, why Gallagher contract has been run down. Chelsea's sporting leadership and ownership have not been convinced he should be integral to their long-term midfield plans. Right, but every manager who's managed Gallagher has played him. So I don't know what to believe here. I don't know what we're getting at here, but it's important not to fall hook, line, and sinker for this stuff. Really important, guys. Really, really important not to fall hook, line, and sinker. Let's quickly cover this Chalobah stuff then. Apparently, Trevor Chalobah has been told he can leave Stamford Bridge this summer. That is apparently what has happened. If that's true or not, I don't know, but we don't really need confirmation of whether it's true or not. We kind of know that's the case. We know that they want to get rid of him. We know that they want to get rid of him. So it is what it is, isn't it? What can we do about that? What can we do about that? You know, it's annoying. It is annoying. But yeah, it appears, that he is that Chalobah is going to be on his way out as well. I mean, look, if there was a choice, I would rather keep Chalobah than Gallagher because I think we've got cover there. But in terms of Chalobah, like we're literally we're going to sell Chalobah to then have to go and buy another centre back when we don't need to do. We're creating an issue for ourselves that we don't need to create. Now you've bought Tosin Adebayo in on a free. You keep Chalobah. You've then got more money to spend in other areas of the squad. Why bring a centre back in on a free, then sell a centre back to then go and spend more money to bring another one in who probably isn't going to be as good as the one you're getting rid of? You know, it doesn't make sense. If any centre back should be leaving this summer, it should be Disasi. You know, it's as simple as that. Any centre back leaving this summer should be Axel Disasi. That's the reality of the situation. Disasi should be the one leaving this summer. But you know, we've got a few centre backs. But you look at it, we've got Tosin Adebayo. I don't think Tosin is an upgrade on Chalobah. You know, I don't think there's an awful lot of difference between them. Maybe does he suit, you know, better a Maresca style of play? Maybe. But, you know, I don't think it's an issue to have Chalobah, Tosin, Adebayo, Colwell, Fofana, and Badiashile as your five. and then sell Disasi. What is wrong? What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? Why is there this need to want to create additional problems for ourselves? You've done a smart bit of business and bringing Adebayo in on a free. Okay, you can then sell Disasi, and you have 5 very good centre backs. Gilchrist is going to go out on loan next season, I would have thought, but Tosin knows Maresca. They worked together at the Man City Academy. The Maresca being manager was part of the reason as to why Adebayo wanted to come. And again, Chalobah, no one's saying that he should start every single week, although he's proven he probably should. He's a very good defender. He's only 24, can play multiple positions, and he doesn't let you down. He doesn't let you down. Disasi's not leaving because Stuart got him for Chelsea. Too many cooks at the club. I think I'd agree with that to an extent. But again, as I said, he shouldn't be going. It shouldn't be coming to this situation, guys. It should not be coming to this situation. That's the reality of it at the end of the day. And we don't need to create an additional problem for ourselves by selling Chalobah to then have to go and bring in someone else. Like, we never seem to realise what we've got. We never seem to realise what we've got. And I don't know why. I don't know why we keep doing this. Getting rid of proven players to gamble on big money potential. That's the reality of the situation. That's kind of the way that the football club's being run right now. That's it. That is it. That is how the football club's being run right now. Proven players being moved on, and you're taking huge gambles on big money potential. Chalobah is better than most of our centre backs. He is. I wouldn't bank on him hanging around for too long. He'll be one of the next names to be shifted on for the pure profit. It leaves Reece and Chilwell to be sold. So Reece and Colwell. So it's not great, people. It's not great at all. It really isn't. But again, you can get 100 million from Hutchinson, Martson, Broja. That's 3 names there. Hutchinson, Martson, Broja. It is too many cooks because everyone's looking out for their best interests. Objectively speaking, Disasi should be sold. He's not that good, and he's probably the player that least benefits from Maresca coming in. But because he was bought in by one of the directors, he's going to want to protect his recommendation and his investment per se, which is why he's not going to go. And I've praised the ownership for stuff that they've done, and rightly so at times. But I've also criticised them and questioned things they've done, because a lot of things they've done are wrong, and a lot of things they've done don't make sense. It's not in the best interest of the football club in my view. It's more about covering their own arses at the end of the day. That's what a lot of decisions at this football club seem to be made on, is people making decisions based on saving themselves, rather than taking the best decision for the football club, rather than making decisions on a logical basis. Everyone's looking out for themselves. I sign this player. If they go after a year or 18 months or 2 years or whatever, shit, that's going to look bad on me. By the way, guys, 183 in the building still. Let's get this up to 150 likes. 17 more likes required. Keep smashing the thumbs up button. Keep subscribing to the channel as well if you're new around here. We are closing in on that little mini milestone. So let's get there. 5 more subscribers, people. 5 more subscribers. Let's get it done. Smash that subscribe button, guys. It would really mean a lot to me. I know I ask quite often, but, sometimes you've got to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. So I know there's a few of you in here that aren't subscribed. Let's hit 5 more. Take us another step closer to the big 10 mark. Let's do this, guys, and keep running those likes up as well. Let's get it to 150. Thing is, the club is not saying anything about FFP rumors. I'm pretty much leaving the fans in the dark. For all we know, we could have to sell 5 or 6 players. This is my point. If after selling, if after selling Broja, Martson, Hutchinson, Chalobah, maybe that's going to get you well over £100 million, right? Or best part of £100 million. If you then still need to sell Conor Gallagher after that, then how bad are things? How bad are things if you still need to do that? I also agree on this. Why have we got 2 sporting directors? Everyone else has got 1 sporting director. Why have we got 2? There's too many people making decisions. Too many people making decisions. Yes, big up for the support, bro. Appreciate it. Too many people making decisions. And again, I think Chalobah's in more of a position to turn a move down than, say, Gallagher is, because he's still got 4 years left on his contract, and he always backs himself to get in the team and backs himself to make a success of himself. So out of the 2, I think it's far more likely Gallagher leaves. I don't think Chalobah is in a position where he needs to leave the football club. That's the reality of the situation for me. That's the reality of the situation for me. But let's see. The vision has become like Brighton, to sell the best performing players and sell them with pure profit just to line their pockets. I don't want to say there's no intentions of winning cups, because I believe that there is absolutely intentions of winning. It just, it'll be interesting to see whether this continues going forwards every summer. Academy players getting sold off. Gilchrist will be sold probably next, not this summer, the one after. How long is it until the likes of Colwell and Reece James are sold? What's not to say if an offer came in for one of those in the next year or 2, that they wouldn't accept the offer. Do you get what I'm saying? There's a lot of things at stake here. Is this just a financial problem that if we sell these players this summer, we're then out of? Who's to say that those financial issues aren't going to occur again further down the line, and we're going to have to sell off more of the academy players? Maybe all right, this time it might be a Gallagher and a Chalobah. Next time this comes around, it could have to be a Levi or a Reece. And I tell you what, like that is a distinct possibility, and people would have a lot more to say about it then than they do right now. That's just the reality of it, guys. But look, at the end of the day, it is what it is, people. There's nothing we can do about it. The club are going in the direction that they're choosing to go in. We've got to hope that these guys maybe decide they don't want to leave or turn down a move or whatever. But yeah, I was going to say it's worrying the direction the club's going in, but it's very much a concern. We are taking a huge step into the unknown here, a huge step into the unknown, and that is a worrying thing. Taking a step into the unknown. Again, taking decisions based on basically based on banking on potential coming good. These are big gambles to take. I think we've signed some good players. I think this will be a good side, and this will be successful in the long run. But it's requiring on players becoming as good as you think they're going to become, and there's never any guarantees of that. And that, for me, is perhaps the biggest issue. That, for me, is probably the biggest issue, is that we're banking on a lot of potential, and we're banking on players to become as good as we think they're going to become, when the reality is we just don't know. We just don't know how good they are going to become. So we're going to have to wait and see on that front, guys. We're going to have to wait and see. What else have we got coming in here? The people talking about the club line their pockets are clueless. How can they possibly be turning a profit right now? you wanted Lavia, the cost was Gallagher. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, it's not a case of, oh, you signed Lavia, you've got to sell Gallagher to cover for it. That's not how it works. I'll be happy with 5th for next season, to be honest with the competition. Other teams will strengthen as well. Yeah. Fingers crossed Lukaku will go to Napoli. Yeah, let's wait and see what happens with that. But we just need to get his wages off the books. I don't care so much about the transfer fee. We just need to get his wages off the books, you know, with the Lukaku situation. 100 million, I don't think so. Not when the club would accept 25 for Trev, 45 to 50 for Gallagher. Well, look, let's say you get 45 million for Gallagher. Let's say you get 25 for Trev. That's what, 70 million pounds there. Let's say you get your 25. That's 95. You get your release clause for Ian Martson. That's over 100 million pounds. You know, you would get 100 million. You know, you would get 100 million. But yeah, let's have a look if there's any further news coming in, people. And then I will look to round this one out. I've got the news that Chelsea have officially blocked Enzo Fernandez and Mykhailo Mudryk from representing their countries at the Olympics this summer. I think we knew about Enzo anyway because the Argentina squad got released the other day. But now Mykhailo Mudryk has also been blocked from representing his country at the Olympics. Makes sense in my view. Makes sense to me. Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to go through, people. So let's have a quick look. Let me just get through a few things in the chat. Will Romeo start next season? Look, Ugo Chukwu, I think, will go out on loan. He's going to the Olympics anyway. So look, will Lavia start? I don't think he'll start straight away, but I think there's definitely a big role for him to play in the team. There's no denying that. No denying that. We need 4th. It's not this financial year I'm worried about. It's next year. Yeah, I hear you. I think with this period, we're okay. It's going to be the next period that could be a concern. So we desperately need that Champions League football next season. Desperately need it. But yeah, guys, I'm going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that tuned in tonight. Greatly appreciate. We've got the Lewis Hall money as well. 30 million pounds coming in there. Yeah, got to round this one out here, guys. Big up to everyone that's tuned in tonight. Love for the support as always, people. It is greatly appreciated. On your way out, smash the thumbs up button, guys. Please hit the like button on the way out. Let's take this up and over 150 likes. We're on 145 now. Let's take this up and over the 150 likes. That should be light work. So smash the like button. And guys, really importantly, make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Let's chalk off 5 more subscribers. Still 160 in the building. There's definitely 5 people who haven't subscribed to the channel in here right now. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Let's get this to 9,850. And yeah, guys, big yourselves up. Love for the support as always. Help me take another step closer to the 10K. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m, unless there's any big news before then. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. Up the Chelsea and peace out, people. Oh, don't want to do that.